Your eBay customer is angry. What are you going to do about it? Maybe it's because you screwed up. You shipped something late. Maybe you forgot to ship it entirely until they reminded you. Or maybe you shipped the product to the wrong person, or you forgot to put the label on and you shipped it, but it got lost. They're upset because of something you did, so we'll talk about that. But also sometimes you'll have customers that are upset because their product doesn't work when it arrives, or it's missing something. So how do you handle that? And you didn't realize it was missing. How do you handle that where you didn't really make a mistake, but there's still a problem in the customer's mind? So let's talk about the first one first. If you goof, my philosophy is you own it. You straight up say, I have made a mistake here, buyer. Don't do the kind of, I guess, natural human nature thing, which is to try to wiggle out of it and like deflect blame. And, I didn't ship it late. I shipped it right on time, but it didn't show up in the post office tracking for a couple days. That's weird. Nobody's going to believe that. They know you didn't ship it on time. So always own it. Your customers are going to respect that. And the best example I have of this where I made a mistake is I had a CD player listed and somebody bought it, but I goofed on inputting the weight and dimensions for the box. And so the shipping was like hardly anything at all. It was really small. And to ship the CD player, I was going to lose like $50. Now, if I'm only going to lose like a couple bucks or break even, I'll still ship something if I've screwed up on the weights and measures for it. But for this instance, I was like, this is too much. I'm not going to eat $50. So I reached out to the buyer and I said, hey, I am canceling the sale because the shipping is off because I inputted the wrong dimensions. I am very sorry about that. And he wasn't happy, obviously, and he wrote to me, he says, I got your message regarding shipping. I am not a happy camper about this. I've been on eBay 21 years and never had this happen. I'll split the shipping with you. Otherwise, I'll have to leave negative feedback. Okay, not ideal. And I had to write back and say, understood, I would be frustrated with my error as well. Unfortunately, is now sold to somebody else, so I don't have it to ship to you. Negative feedback is warranted in this instance. Happy holidays, Eric. Now, obviously, it was around the holidays last year, and I fully expected negative feedback. So when he wrote back, I was surprised. He says, I'll just not leave you any feedback, good or bad. We all make mistakes. And really, I think the only reason I didn't get it is just because I was honest. And I said, yeah, this is bad. I goofed. You should leave me negative feedback. And that was just so honest. My opinion is that he's like, I can't leave this guy negative feedback. And so he didn't say anything. So I turned a bad situation into at least a neutral situation by being honest. So my philosophy is you own it, you offer up your apologies, and I will often say I will give you full money back with shipping included, if that makes sense, for whatever the problem is. If it's shipped late and they still want it, well, I mean, I'm not going to give them their money back because they don't want it back because they want the item. But just be honest with them and say what you did and just apologize, and just don't try to, yeah, buddy, would have been there on time, except blah, blah. Nobody wants to hear that. Now, the other time you will have upset buyers is when they get something and it's not working. Now, presumably you shipped it because it worked. You weren't going to ship something that didn't work, I'm assuming, as an eBay reseller. And don't ship something that works like 95% of the time. Just don't do that, because it's not going to work on the client's end. So don't know, this mostly works. Let me get. So only ship things that you know that work. But what happens when it gets there and now it doesn't work? That's not your fault. Maybe just got jostled really hard, because I had a CD player one time that worked fine. I shipped it. He got it and he said, hey, this doesn't work. Now, I always, again, start off with apologies. I'm so sorry to hear that. It did work when I sent it. I am 100% happy to give you your money back, including shipping, if you want to start a return. I want you to be happy. However, if you're open to a little troubleshooting, I have some ideas, because I think the drive belt is broken. These things are old CD players and the belts can get brittle. And so he wrote back and he said, yeah, okay. I said, here's what I'll do. Here's a video on how to repair these. I will send you a new drive belt. And he did it. I sent it to him. He repaired it, got his CD player working, and he was super excited. He gave me glowing, positive feedback about how I helped him out, showed him how to fix it and do all this, and he was just amazed. Instead of saying what might be the natural reaction sometimes for people to say, oh, it worked when I sent it to you, you must have broken it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Say, oh, there must be a problem. Something else. Let's explore. Happy to give you your money back. My apologies. So that's my approach. Now, it doesn't work all the time because I had a situation here recently where I don't know exactly what happened. But I have an idea. So what happened was I had a board game that I was sending out that somebody had purchased, and it was brand new in box, in great shape. But she left me negative feedback, which surprised me. She said the box was damaged, which is not what I expect when I pay $90 for a board game. The box it was shipped in was fine, so I have to assume that the damage occurred prior to shipment. So I was stumped. The game was in great shape, so how is it damaged, but the shipping box isn't? Didn't make any sense. But I wrote to her and I said, hi, sorry to hear there's a problem. I left this in feedback, so it's public, so everybody else can see my response to her feedback. This is the first I've heard of the issue, because I wish she'd reached out to me, just messaged me directly to say, hey, here's what happened. I'm not sure what happened since the game was in the condition pictured in the listing with no damage when I packed it. If you like, please initiate a return and I will refund you 100% shipping and cost for the game. Sounds like you are not satisfied and I stand behind my products. So I left that publicly where other people could see it, that I was offering that, and that I didn't know that there was a problem before we got negative feedback. She didn't respond. So instead of having 100% feedback like I've had for a long time, I have 99.7% now. So ugh. But that's the way it goes. I only have one negative feedback. What I think happened doing a little bit of research is that if the shippers, UPS or whoever, really damage a shipment, like busted up badly, they will repackage the item, even if it's damaged, in a brand new box and then continue it on its way. So I think she got a great box because it was the one that UPS put it in. It wasn't the box that I had packed it in. And so that has to be what happened. She's not going to believe me, apparently, that it wasn't damaged because I'm just a shady eBay guy, right? So I had no opportunity to fix that. So it doesn't always work. But my go-to move, and I would encourage you, is if you goof, just own it and be apologetic. Say, here's what we can do to fix it, and move on, because it's going to happen. You're going to have these problems if you eBay resell long enough, so don't let them get you too down. So until next time, happy thrifting.